knowing who you are, I think, is one of the greatest things ever, being self-aware. When you can identify your different voices and the different things that go on in your brain and your soul and stuff, you're able to live a more fulfilled life. So like with therapy, you go deeper and deeper and deeper into your subconscious, and then you're able to understand your triggers more and what makes you tick and why you do that and why you react in a certain way. And it makes you're able to live a more wholesome life. Otherwise, you're constantly battling with yourself, with your loved ones, with your partner. And that's why I try and share what I do online, to show people actually you haven't got to live obsessed with food or hating your body or whatever it is. Like, there's other options.
Yeah, and I think what you're great at as well is that you're not always like, hey, look how great my life is. You're like very open with, like, if you're having a shit time or a shit week, you're like, this is how it is at the minute. This is how I'm feeling. And I think people do need to see that, because, you know, unfortunately for us, the way we digest stuff through social media, we're only seeing like the highlights of a lot of people's lives all the time. So we're only seeing like the good stuff, the good of, you know, the best of the best stuff. And we're not seeing like, actually, this is the real day to day. That person is posting a picture on holiday, but they spend 10 months of the year sat at their desk being miserable and hating their life. So I think it's great that there's people like you in the world who are doing good things, but also showing up and going, actually, it's not all great all the time. Like, sometimes we have to go through the shit to learn about ourselves, like we were just saying, to go deep into ourselves, to then grow on top of that. And I think that's like part of my journey, has been recognizing those moments and then going, actually, it's cool that I'm having these moments, because I know that on the other side of it, as tough as it is right now when I'm in it, I know on the other side is growth, and I'm going to develop through it, and I'm going to learn through it. And I think it comes down to like self-worth, doesn't it, really? Yeah,
you have to believe that you're worthy of happiness, I think, to really feel it. And I think if you've had difficult experiences and you've had a lot of sadness, you can be so attached to like that pain because you're used to it. And it's about like taking a step back and being like, no, I actually deserve to have a really good life and to have good people around me and to feel loved and joy, etc., etc. But it takes time. I'm 29, I've just turned 29, and I only feel like my life is starting now. That's fucking wild. So, like, you know, a lot of people don't heal until they're 60. So we start now, because I don't want to have a child and have that child go through what I went through. So I'm like breaking that generational curse. So that I'm starting a new, more well cycle.
And one of the things that you mentioned earlier that you went through is suffering from an eating disorder, right? And I know I've heard you mention before that you kind of like outed yourself online about it. So what was that kind of...
Oh my God, yeah.
What was
you
that?
You did your research. So I started YouTube 2011. It was very different. Everyone was like, I want to say normal, but that's really rude. But like, everyone had like a really messy bedroom, was making videos on their webcam. It was so chill. Nothing like what it is now. And I was getting loads of comments. I think because I just looked different. Everyone was quite white, middle class, thin, posh, and I'm not that. So I was automatically put in this box of like, you're so confident and amazing. And I was like, you've got no idea what's going on. But I think I'd put that persona out that I was like amazing and confident and happy, and life was just fantastic, and it was not. So one day I did a video called The Pressure to Be Perfect and spoke about what was actually going on. So like depression, self-harm, issues with food, body image, and I just put it out there because I was sick of being called like a role model when I wasn't a role model, or I didn't feel like I was one. And I was just over it. So I thought, I'm just going to put that out there and see what happens. Went out, and that I think was like the boom moment for me, one of the booms. So I got loads of subscribers, loads of followers from that. And I was like, so if you talk about your problems, people actually, like, that's a thing? Wow. So, it started on and on from there. And I was very open about my experiences with food and how I thought about food every second of every day. Was trying to be like this thin person, and the role models that we had back then were like Kate Moss. It was the models like that, and first of all, I'm not white, so I can't change my skin colour, and I was never going to be a size 0, like it just wasn't going to happen, and I just spoke about it, and it turned out that is like a very healing thing. And then eventually I got help, and I went to an ED clinic and stuff, and And it's so mad because when I talk about it now, it doesn't feel like it's me.
Yeah.
Because I'm so far removed from those feelings, and they might come back every now and then because I'm in therapy and things come up.
Yeah.
But that's just not me anymore.
So what are the differences you see then between Grace from 2011, 2012 to now?
First of all, my eyebrows. That's the thing. I think it was a very wounded inner child and a very, very overt, loud ego. And I was constantly battling between the two, really obsessed with how I looked because of experiences. I think when you're black, mixed race, of colour and plus size, you're already talked about because you're so different. So being different and my size became like a massive part of my identity. And then I wanted to lose loads of weight, and I did lose loads of weight, and then I wasn't any happier. I was way more unhappier. And it was that strive for perfection that I've let go of, validation from other people, and very skewed views of what healthy actually is. I was just so obsessed with like being thin is the only way, and it really isn't. There's like health is about what you watch, what you're reading, what you think. And my thoughts were so unhealthy, and I was just a mess basically. And it's taken me a long time to like crawl out of this hole. I just thought that I had to look a certain way, be a certain way, that success and happiness could only come when I was that person. But funny enough, when I let go of all of that, that's when my success started coming. Yeah.
That's interesting in itself, that letting go of, again, that comes down to ego, I suppose, doesn't it? Of like, this is how I should be, this is what I should be like, this is how...
It's tiring.
Yeah, it is.
It's so tiring not living your truth. It's so tiring. Some days, I think it's important to live your truth offline, because I don't think that it's always the right place to share stuff on the internet. But some days I just want to tweet like, I can't fucking stand YouTube, or I can't. Obviously I can't do that. But in real life, my boyfriend, I'm like, I'm done with this shit. Like that's important to me. Like speaking and your throat chakra, letting it go, speaking your truth. And it helped me. And also like finding things in life that made me happy. If you're constantly looking in the mirror, you've got time. I ain't got time for that anymore. So yeah, I tried to find like joy outside of what I look like. Yeah. So but now I love what I look like. I think I'm buff.
You look great. Look at that. Custom dress, right?
Custom made, honey.
So what is your truth now then?
My truth now is that every day I'm different. Every minute I'm different. We're cyclic beings, we change, we grow, we evolve, we go backwards sometimes. And I'm okay with that. That's my truth. My truth is that I don't know. Everyone always says, what's next for you? I don't fucking know. Like, that's my truth. I'm living in the moment for what is happening right now. I want to travel, I want to have babies, I want to do certain things, but it's all going to happen the way it's meant to happen. And I believe that the universe will provide. And that is my truth.
Yeah, and I think that what you said about not knowing or not planning too far ahead and just being more present is so powerful. Like, I've been going through a whole non-attachment process at the minute of like just not I'm a little bit of a hoarder of stuff sometimes. So
what kind of stuff are we talking?
Just like stuff in my room, like clothes, like just flyers from events, like just stuff that is needless that you don't need. But I just like feel bad throwing it away. But I recently moved out of my flat into gone back into my old bedroom in my parents' house. Whole different story. That's to free up some time later down the line. So the purpose behind that is that I want to do some traveling from January. So I moved back into my parents to save money so I can do the traveling in January. But what I realized was when I moved back into my old bedroom, because soon I'd been out of it for like nearly 5 years, I went back into my bedroom and all of my drawers and wardrobes were still full. And I was like, how? Like, I haven't worn any of this stuff for 5 years. So I literally went through this process of like, I emptied out all my wardrobe. I brought all my stuff from my flat, literally chucked it all in bags in my room, and I went through every item one by one with my mum. I went, keep, throw away.
I can't do that.
Like, literally, it was the most like therapeutic thing. And I really thought oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I was really like panicking about it. I was like, I don't know if I can just throw stuff away that I've had for years that might have a little meaning to me about something, like a t-shirt I got at an event or something. And even like leaving my flat, I thought I was gonna be really sad about it, and in the end I was a bit like, yeah, I'm not that fussed. But that was a good thing, because maybe a year ago I would have been like, oh God, I can't do this, I'm gonna be so sad, like crying, leaving my room. I was like, it's just a room.
It's like understanding what is actually important.
Exactly.
But although honestly I think shoes are important, I'm joking. But I love shopping, and this is, and I think there's a bit of give and take, because money and how we spend is directly or indirectly linked to trauma.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've been like reading into and researching, because I think that I'm like a professor, but I'm definitely not. And how we view money is usually how we view ourselves and how we view the world. So like the other day I tweeted about this, and I said, to be honest, I woke up, I had a really difficult emotional therapy session, and the next morning I woke up and I could just feel heaviness, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on ASOS, spent £200, and I'm aware of like when I'm shopping like out of my emotion, and when I'm shopping because I really need something and when I deserve it. And for women, I think especially plus size women, so intrinsically linked to our identity, like being able to step into your power and use clothes as a way to express, and for art, do you know what I mean? Like makeup is art. So I definitely think about attachments to certain things, but at the same time I'm like, but I literally love clothes.
Yeah.
It's so hard to find
Get the balance.
Yeah.